Good morning, and I want to thank you, Aisha, for inviting me for this interview. Give me the honor of presenting myself and introducing myself. And it is with great honor that I am announcing my re-election candidacy for Santa Cruz County Recorder and for the primary election of August 4th, 2020. And I'm very grateful to have the privilege of having served Santa Cruz County for 40 years. And I look forward to serving another term. And my 40 years of public service and experience includes working with the county assessor's office for 14 years in the personal property as a personal property appraiser. And also I manage that department. And I'm also certified as an appraiser for real and personal property by the Arizona Department of Revenue and the International Association of Assessing Officers. And as your county recorder, I have gained experience in voter registration, early voting, and the recording of documents. I am a certified election officer by the Arizona Secretary of State's office, and I'm always looking for ways to enhance the recording department and preserving Santa Cruz County history. Thank you.
There have been news reports about inaccuracies in voting across the country. How do you maintain the accuracy of voter rolls? And how do you assure your voters of a fair election?
Okay. All right. Thanks for asking, Aisha. And that is a very important subject. I know that we all have concern about our voter rolls and the inaccuracy and the accuracy. And I want to mention that the recorder's office is always having, trying to educate people on updating their voter registrations. It's really important. Some people, what we do is we have voter outreach, and we also participate in community events so that we can have a table there, and we are available to be there to answer questions, to register people to vote, to update their information. They have to know that they have to update their information if they change their address, because the U.S. Post Office will not forward any election mail.
What do you think about online voting? And if you do think it's something that's a good idea, how would you ensure the security of online voting?
Okay. For online voting, I think that's something that might be possible in the future. I think it would be good because I think that everything is now about technology and people wanting to be able to have access through their devices. And, maybe that's something that we could look into. But for right now, I would say that maybe with security, we're never sure that it's going to be secured, especially with, you hear of all these things that people are always going into our servers and trying to get information. And so I think it's something that we have to be very cautious. I wouldn't just think about it right at this time because of everything that's going on and how our security has been, being invaded, or, invasion of our security. And so at this time, maybe it wouldn't be good until we have something that would be just tight security and that it's impossible to get into. That's when I would say that we are ready.
With the looming budget cuts in the county budget, how do you feel about consolidating polling places? For example, having one polling place for both Sonoyta, Elgin, and possibly even Patagonia.
Okay. That is something that is actually out of my jurisdiction as far as my department. That's actually in the elections department. And the way that would work, it's something that, I'm not really very familiar in that field. I do know that we have voting centers and then having to consolidate. But, that's something that may have to happen. I'm not sure if it, and how it would affect our budget, or if our budget is going to affect having to consolidate. But what I would say, because it's within my department, in my jurisdiction, would be, I would say then vote by mail or vote early, so that we don't have to have those issues if you don't want to have to combine, have those polling places combined and then traveling that way. If you vote by mail, then you would be more accessible for you and convenient. Thank you.
How would you improve the process of recorded documents relating to property sales to be available more promptly in Santa Cruz County? In the other counties in the state, for example, Pima and Cochise, these documents can be available sometimes within an hour of filing.
Okay, thank you. And, you know, I'd like to mention that was mentioned to me before. And so what I did is I called and I called the county recorder in Pima County, Fan Rodriguez, and I spoke to her and I asked her, do you have documents readily available for somebody to look it up that same day? And she said, no, that's impossible. And she says, most likely with those that are done electronically, we could have those available, but we have thousands that are recorded in our county. So it may take up to 1 to 2 days for it to be indexed and readily available. So I like to say for our office, it's the same thing. With the recording system that we have, it's user friendly, it's perfect for my employees, but everything takes a process in order for it to be available. So if we record a document, we receive it, we record it right there, it's stamped and everything readily available for the person. If they need it, we could have it for them. But then we still have to take steps. We have to scan it so we have an image. And then with that image, we index the information where you have your buyer, seller, and legal description that you have to index that information. And then we do one more step, which is a perfection, making sure that the information that was entered, the data entry that was done is correct. So it all takes a process. I mean, it's not like that you just get a document, you process it, and it's ready. No, we have to have it indexed. We have to scan it, index it, and perfect it. And then we mail it to the person, to the owner. So it's pretty much available, and we can look it up. If people call us and say, you know what, I need this immediately, you know, we just got it and had it done today, we can always give it to that person at that moment.
So in the recorder's office, what have you been doing in your position as a recorder to put older documents online? For example, documents from the 1960s and the 1970s. And how do you see yourself moving these documents online in the next term?
Okay. Thank you for asking that question, because that's one of my goals that I've been working on. And as a matter of fact, I did have these imaged. So we had a company that came down to Nogales to image all our documents. So what we do is I'll say phase one. I had phase one, and it was done maybe about 4 or 5, 6 years ago, that we had them imaged from 2005 through to 1981. I would say that that's phase one. And there were some documents that were on the microfiche, and those were done, and now they've been indexed. And as I say, so they've all been imaged, and what we had is we had the image, but it took us time in order to index all those documents. There were thousands of documents that we had to index. So now we've completed that, and I did not want to complete the second phase, which would include from year 1982 through 1899, when our county was first established as Santa Cruz County. And we just recently had that done in November. And so they imaged all of our documents, all of our books, all the maps, it's everything that we have in the vault. And now what we're waiting to do is we're waiting to get the perfection back from them. They have to send us back the perfected image of those documents that they did. So it's very time consuming. They're still working on it, and they haven't sent it back to us yet as being perfected. They have sent us images that we are luckily able to, thank God, have it be able to use it so that we can look up information if we wish to from our desk, just have it installed. It's a drive, and we have it installed onto each of our computers, and we can look up the information instead of going to the vault like we used to. So once all of this has been perfected, then it's going to be that our turn that we have to index all this information. And pretty soon, everything is going to be online.
In terms of voting and the voting process, how do you assure the public of the accuracy of voter information?
Okay. So we're always taking steps to make sure that all the information is accurate. It's very important that we're always reminding ourselves and each other that how important it is that we do the information with accuracy and perfection. I know they said it's impossible to be perfect, but you know, when it comes to voting, that's what people expect from us. And I'm always telling our employees and the ladies in my office, our staff know that too, that it's so important because that's what the voter wants to see. And so we're always trying to achieve that and always working on it. And when we're always trying to enhance our procedures and our steps that we do, but so that we are also able to have that for our voters. I'd like to ask people of Santa Cruz County to vote again for Suzie Sainz, Santa Cruz County Recorder. I want you to know that I commit myself and I'm very dedicated to the community here in Santa Cruz County, to all our people, our residents, our voters, and everyone. And I want to say that I'm very proud of our voters too, because the way they participate, they want to participate, they feel it's very important. And I think that also too, that I want to say, I don't feel that there's ever been any voter fraud here in Santa Cruz County. It's very unusual that anything like that happens. So I don't want the people to think that, you know, anybody can just go in and vote somebody else's ballot. There's always a way of verifying everything so that that doesn't happen. And I know that our voters won't let it happen either. And so I'm just very proud to be your county recorder, and I hope that you will vote for Suzie Sainz, Santa Cruz County Recorder. Thank you very much.